I'm Stila Webb.
And I'm Siobhan Ghosh.
I'm going to write my first fiction novel this year.
And I'm going to film it.
And we're going to release one video each week.
And if you keep up with Stila's word count, by the end of 2017, you'll have... Hey publishers, sorry about missing last week. We fell asleep. But today we've got something that's sure to wake every author up. Formatting. Stila Tiberius Webb, what is formatting?
Formatting is putting shit on a paper so it looks good. Ding. Nailed it.
Bring that puppet back.
No. Alright.
Give me that puppet.
No. Formatting is making sure that everything on your page is uniform the whole way through. What, I don't understand. What's do I have to actually get the definition of formatting? This makes no sense. Formatting is making sure that you get all the spaces and the headers and everything else in your book looking uniform and professional.
Because you're self-publishing, no one else will do this for you. Amazon, Smashwords, they're not going to do it for you. They just have automatic formatters. You have to do the work yourself.
First thing you want to do is check the guidelines for wherever you're publishing. You're probably going to do Amazon, so we're going to talk about Amazon. But check the guidelines. Make sure that you follow, for the most part, the guidelines that they set up, or they won't even accept your book in the first place.
The biggest decision you have to make during formatting is if your paragraphs start with a little indented header, or if there's a space between each paragraph.
Oh, cocaine's good stuff.
Alright, we're back.
I heard you sneeze twice.
We're going to need a little cocaine to get through the formatting.
You might.
Alright, what we mean by that is when your paragraphs start, the first word in your paragraph should be bumped back a little bit. This distance is usually something like 0.3 of an inch. 0.3 of an inch. But play with it in your Word document, to see what looks right. You don't want too huge. You want to signify the start of each paragraph. It looks really good if each paragraph starts with a little indentation.
It's very visually clean and a good indicator that something's you're starting a new paragraph.
The other way of writing is to not have that 0.3 of an inch and have a paragraph break and another line between each paragraph. You can do one or the other, but do not do both.
Yeah, don't do both. If you can help it, don't do both.
They can help it. They're formatting it right now. Other things you need to do when formatting is put a page break at the end of each chapter.
It looks the cleanest when your chapters begin on a brand new page every time.
Yeah. It's for example, this is happening in Catcalled right now, where it'll say like Chapter 9 right in the middle of the thing, right? And that looks a little annoying.
I'm not doing that right now. I've been doing page breaks. Is it not translating page breaks in yours? Because there are page breaks on my computer. That's Pages. Pages is screwing it up because I have page breaks. Manual page break, you go insert, page break, manual.
Well, Stila, how do you put a chapter, or how do you put a page break at the start of your chapter? Do you just hit return a lot?
No.
What do you do?
So in OpenOffice, you go to, I believe, insert, and then it's manual break, and then page break.
Okay, do it. You were confident when you were saying it. Just go insert.
Yeah, but then I was wrong.
You're fine.
It's
Close enough.
insert, manual break, page break, okay. Bing.
Yeah, so it'll put each chapter on a new page.
Which Pages isn't translating, so I'm totes doing that.
Between chapters, when one chapter ends or another one begins, or even between time jumps in a single chapter, I put 3 asterisks.
Yeah, that's just a time break.
Yeah, I put 3 asterisks, usually either on the left hand or in the center, right? You can choose your own. Some people use a tilde, some people use 3 tildes, whatever. Just some way to identify time jumps.
Right, this is to give a visual cue to the reader that time is about to elapse, so they're not confused about, well, how did they get from their house to the top of Mount Washington?
Yeah. In Infinity Squad 1, I didn't do this. In Infinity Squad 1, I just had like 4 spaces.
Yeah.
And I figured out my lesson by Infinity Squad too. I had a lot of these stars.
Yes, that was a nightmare, and I'll get into that.
Yeah. But when you put these chapter breaks or time jumps, again, put one of those returns so you'll have a backwards P there.
And the other thing to make sure is that this is uniform throughout the book, so that every time you do this time jump, it has one space, the indicator, and then another space, or 2 spaces on each, or 3. Same thing goes for chapter. When you get done with your chapter, make sure that there's the exact same number of spaces underneath it before your text begins in every single chapter break. My trick is I just copy and paste the previous chapter break into my next one and just change the number.
We know it's tedious, we know it's going to get repetitive, but you have to do it. No one else is going to. You have to go through and make sure every single chapter has the right number of spaces. I make my chapter headings bold, centered, so you got to go through and make sure everyone is bold and centered.
I just make mine bigger and centered.
Yeah, I mean, play some music, get some Coca-Cola in a nice little glass, get a cookie, but you're going to have to do the same thing 20 to 50 times. Just check it every single time.
Yep. And make sure when you're going through, so what's that thing you press?
This thing?
Yeah, that thing. What is this?
The little backwards double P?
Yeah, what's the P thing? The little paragraph thingy. What's that called? There's a button in Word.
Called
What do I even search?
yeah, but search for double P?
I don't
Backwards
know.
P?
Symbols in Word?
Oh!
What?
Pilcrow.
What?
Pilcrow.
Who comes up with these names?
Greek people.
Oh my god. You're drinking way too much wine.
Pilcrow.
Alright.
We all learned something today.
So in Word, there is something called the pilcrow that you're standing in front of. If you click on that button, it will put these, and it'll put little dots for all of the times you've hit the space bar. It'll have a symbol for every time you've hit the tab. It'll have a symbol for every enter. And that gives you a nice, concrete visual of how many spaces are you putting between every period and the beginning of your next sentence. Are you putting 2 or are you putting 1? You need to be uniform. How many, indents are you doing? You don't want to indent through a space when you can just hit enter, because it will format funny. So you want to make everything uniform, and that gives you a good visual way to see what you're using everywhere so that you can make it the same.
Yeah.
And only use the tab button, the space bar, and the enter key for stuff.
Oh, no.
Don't do weird headers and crazy crap.
No.
What?
No tabs. I was just reading the Smashwords guide.
God damn it, I totally tabbed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take all those tabs. So, yeah, this 3/10 of an inch should not come from a tab. You're setting a global property of the whole document. So it's gonna be that,
Yeah,
it's that ruler up at the top. Don't use tab to get this. And don't use space to get this, because those will throw it off. You want the
Oh, yeah,
global,
space will totally throw it off.
you want the ruler at the top. But anyway, the pilcrow button is how you see all your spaces, how you see all your tabs. So turn it on, and it'll help with the formatting. Pilcrow.
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 Because that makes sense.
So speaking of bullshit that has to go, if you're in Word, don't make this like a major heading so it gets bold, and don't use like subheadings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
All that stuff.
don't go into the heading menu and set it up so that each one says chapter and it's got this much space around it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't.
Word thinks it's smart, but all that stuff messes up formatting when you when you put it in one of these automated systems like Amazon and Smashwords has. So again, just do it manually. Bold, centered, page break for your chapter headings.
And here's a crazy one. You can put the entire thing on WordPad, and it will strip all of that crap out.
Okay.
And then you can copy and paste it into Word to format it. That's an extreme measure.
Well, they call that the nuclear method.
That's the nuclear method. Yeah.
So, okay,
Oh,
so-
you've already got that down there.
Well, yeah. That's
Okay.
why we have these cards.
I didn't see you write that down. We didn't talk about it. It's at the end, not up where I'm talking about.
So if you use multiple word processors while making your book, so for example, you've been writing on your iPad,
Like me.
then you take it to Word Perfect, then you take it to work and you put it in Microsoft Word, then you put it in Open Office, and you're taking the same document all the way through, your formatting might be jacked up.
So messed up.
So Smashwords has an option called a nuclear option, which is, like Stila was saying, copy and paste your document into a text file or a WordPerfect file, and then put it back, save it as a text file, put it back into your Word, and start doing the formatting then.
It strips everything.
Yeah. I only do it for rare cases and short books. I wouldn't do it for a super long book, but you might have to. It strips out bold, italics, everything.
Oh no, I'm probably gonna have to do that. I really don't want to do that.
Everyone has to at one point. You're not really an author until you've had to do that. So you're not a self-published author until you've used the nuclear option at least once. But then you have to go back through and put all your italics back in.
So, another tip, before you do that, make sure you have a saved copy with all of your normal stuff so that it looks right to you, so that you can go through and page by page put all your italics back in. Make sure all the chapters are in the right place. Make sure all the paragraphs in the right place and bold and all that crap.
Definitely make a bunch of copies and save them in kind of revision order so you can always have a place to go back.
Yeah.
One of the reasons to do the nuclear option I'm noticing is my iPad puts like these straight quotes on things.
Oh god, I hate that.
And WordPerfect puts these smart quotes on things. And then now they're mixed in my document like that, and it's just super annoying. So
Pages doesn't have Georgia font for some reason, so yeah, I've got the
yeah.
I've got both of them all through it. It's super irritating.
You're gonna have
the commas look different.
Calm down, Muppet. So you're gonna have to go through and look at all this stuff and do it one by one. It's super annoying, but again, get some weed brownies, grab a 40, and just take some time and do it.
Roll yourself a flat spliff.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take time.
Flat
okay.
spliff, sorry.
All right, so that's all the things you have to worry about taking in and out. What's one thing they have to put in that they may not think of? Still a Tiberius Webb.
Copyright page. Amazon requires it or they will not publish you, period.
Also Smashwords.
Also Smashwords. It's really stupid,
Well,
but you have to have one.
it's the basis of the American legal system.
Good news is, you only have to make one. And you can use it for all your books. With minor changes, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so all the two things a copyright page has to have on it really is the year, so 2017, and then your name.
There are lots and lots of different templates for this. So if you just look up copyright page for a book, there will be all kinds of things that can show you different ways to do it and how to format it and all of that stuff.
The third thing is the name of your book. So just put name of book, copyrighted year by your name, and that should be good enough. You can put a thing of all events are fictional and all names are not representative of whatever. Yeah, exactly. You can put that. It's fine. You don't have to. But you do have to. So Amazon and Smashwords somehow in their automatic processor will check to see if your first page has a date and your name and the name of the book on it.
Yep.
So you have to put that copyright page on there.
Don't forget it. It will immediately get rejected without it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a simple fix. Yeah. All right, copyright. Oh, ISBNs. Oh my god. So when I was publishing Infinity Squad 1, ISBNs were a huge deal.
It was a big kerfluffle.
ISBNs are that, I don't even know, 16-digit number that comes at the beginning of your book, and it's how like the Library of Congress like designates your book from all the other books that come out in the world. And the big kerfuffle was, don't let Smashwords assign an ISBN. It makes them the publisher, and they get the royalties, and all that stuff is fake. On Smashwords or on Amazon, in the process of uploading your book, it'll ask you, do you want us to assign a free ISBN to your book? You say yes.
Problem solved. End of it. Keep moving.
Yeah.
You're golden.
It doesn't matter where you... People try to sell you ISBNs. People would try to sell you packs of 10 ISBNs for $100. Like, these are official, registered, you as a publisher. All that stuff is crap. It doesn't matter if Smashwords or Amazon assigns you the ISBN. The book is yours. You always get the money from it. You own the copyright.
That's why you have a copyright page.
Yeah, the ISBN is just a single number to prevent the book from being duplicated and to keep... It's like a social security number for books. Doesn't matter. It's for identification purposes only. Yeah. The libertarian humor. Yeah. All right, ISBN. So just get it from Smashwords or Amazon.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. for free. Don't let someone trick you into paying for one.
Another thing you probably want to go ahead and avoid, unless it's really important to.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Chapter headings in bold. Oh, page numbers. Shit.
Oh.
Go for it.
Another thing, you don't need to number your pages. You don't need to do it. In fact, you probably pretty much know this by now because every single different reader already adjusts everything to page numbers depending on what your font is set at, how it's formatted, all that stuff. You don't need to worry about it. Don't do it. Because then what you'll end up with is a book that somebody's reading with a page number right in the middle of the book, right in the middle of the page for no apparently good reason.
Yeah.
So avoid that.
Yeah, for e-publishing, page numbers are needed. Forget what they taught you in school.
If you're EPUBing it, you don't need a page number. We'll come back to that topic.
Talk about the pilcrow. Kindle, when you read it, automatically skips to chapter 1. So no matter what you put on our acknowledgments or forwards, the reader always skips to chapter 1 to start reading, or the prologue. So they're probably going to skip it anyway.
That's just how Kindle works, sorry.
Yeah. You can put it in there, doesn't really matter. It's not as important as the copyright page.
And we have no idea how to deal with table of contents, so don't worry about it.
Oh, no, that happens automatically. That's actually pretty cool.
Does it do it automatically?
Yeah,
Because I've seen people's table of contents that doesn't have hyperlinks and doesn't take you anywhere. It just shows you chapter numbers.
No, that's weird. Okay. No, when you upload anything to Smashwords or Amazon, whenever it sees chapter 9 or whatever, it'll put a hyperlink in there automatically. It just does it.
Nice.
So,
hey, didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, no, they're getting smarter. These little automated things are so. Don't spend time making your own table of contents. It'll do that automatically for you. Also, from the Smashwords guide, don't have tables and columns in your book. Those will get formatted all weird. Keep in mind, some people may be reading it on a phone, some people on an iPad, some people on a monitor. So tables and columns will look weird.
Yep, they're gonna change the font size. They're gonna do all that. So don't even worry about it.
Yeah, don't have tabs. Don't have drop caps.
What the hell are those?
Drop caps are when you open up a book and the first letter of the book is like a butterfly, then it has like a T.
Oh.
Like, you know, if this little T was like an Eiffel Tower, that like looked like a T, and then the wind was fine that day. Smashwords hates all that bullshit.
Oh.
You can't do that. All right.
Oh.
You're not in the Ye Old West.
Oh.
You're not Jules Verne stamping books up. So Smashwords will take you'll take your Word document and it'll make it into a EPUB format, which is a very widely used format for Barnes & Noble, Nooks readers.
Yep.
So EPUB is important. It'll make it into a .mobi format, which is what Kindle.
That's your Kindle.
Yeah, that's your Kindle format. It'll make it into a .pdf.
Yep.
It'll make it into a text file if you want that. Smashwords lets you choose. I can't remember if Amazon lets you choose. No, Amazon doesn't, obviously.
Nope, it just does EPUB. That's it. Or
Yeah.
Mobi.
Yeah, Amazon only does .mobi. Smashwords does all these different formats, and I typically do EPUB, Mobi, PDF, and that's it.
Yeah.
So keep in mind all
Aren't
that.
you glad all the other ones are gone?
Yeah, but so imagine a system that's trying to format your book into all those different formats. It's not gonna be able to figure out this drop cap picture of a butterfly you have.
What the hell is this butterfly thing?
Yeah, exactly.
That goes.
Your first paragraph will just start with utterfly. It'll be UTT. It's not going to be able to figure out this butterfly image you have here.
Yeah, it's not gonna get it.
So no drop caps.
But what you can do is put images.
Oh, we're jumping there.
This is a perfect spot for images. It's a perfect segue.
Go.
I don't know how to do this. Okay.
I'm back.
So one of the freedoms of being an EPUB.
And I'm out. Let's stay in.
Okay. One of the great things about being a self-publisher is you can actually add pictures now. You don't have to get an illustrator to put it in for you and talk to the publisher and all that stuff. You can just drop a full picture in the middle of your book like he did in Infinity Squad 2.
Do you remember when you used to read paperback books as a kid, and they were all black and white text, and maybe in the middle they had 3 or 4 black and white images of like the map or of a tank or whatever? You don't have to do that anymore. You can put full color, detailed images anywhere you want in your book. Every chapter if you want.
So how is that different from the butterfly?
So the butterfly image has to be at a very specific spot, and it has to like be in line with the text for it to work. It has to be like touching the utterfly for the bee to work. But the image can be really just its own separate thing. So the image is down here after a paragraph, and if there's a space before it or a space after it and it gets a little shoved, it doesn't matter. You're still laughing with the Utterfly, aren't you? Yeah. So in Infinity Squad 2, stop laughing.
I just see a giant pair of udders with wings. Moo.
So in Infinity Squad 2, I had like a map of the universe because they were jumping from Worm Gate to Worm Gate, you know, jumping across the universe. So I made like these little
Sorry.
sketches of the different areas they were jumping in. I put them in line. They were full color and they were right there. And you can do that now with electronic self-publishing.
And squirt milk like all
Oh my
the flowers. How is this not the image in your head? Like the big pretty wings, but it's just got udders and squirt milk everywhere.
Why are you doing this?
Okay.
And one thing you should definitely do is put a super pretentious historic quote at the start of every chapter.
I'm particularly fond of Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah. There was a time when every military sci-fi book published by John Ringo had like a Rudyard Kipling quote at the beginning of every chapter. And sometimes it was cool, and sometimes it was the most pretentious thing ever.
It's really hard to do that well, so don't do it in your first book.
So
Unless you're Dune, and you're literally putting, like Dune was brilliant about it. He put quotes from a fictional book written in that universe about the events happening at the beginning, which was really cool, and it tied into everything.
yeah.
Like, you got to the end and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally get what all those quotes are now. They're perfectly apropos because they literally tie directly to the book.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
Dune did it right. The other 99 people that tried to copy Dune did it wrong.
so wrong.
So most of the time it's not going to work. You can put the quote at the beginning of the chapter if you want in italics. It's going to look weird sometimes. It's going to be pushed over to the
You
side.
spend half of the time you're reading it trying to figure out why that particular quote matters. Like, what is the point of this line of poetry?
Yeah.
And half the time, the reader can't figure it out. It's too obscure. It seems really in-depth and awesome. I would skip it.
Yeah.
For your first book, skip it. On your 10th book, give it a try.
All right. So now you've got a book with a copyright page and an ISBN, and you've got the format. You figured out the smart quotes and curly quotes. You don't have drop caps. You've looked at your pilcrow button. You've got your images and chapter breaks in bold. Now you upload it into Smashwords or Amazon. Okay? This is a scary moment.
Everything should be great, right?
No. You're going to have to check it. It's not going to work right the first time. The chapter's going to be weird. There's going to be like a weird 5-line break in some of your paragraphs. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you upload it, Smashwords tells you what you are in the queue. It says like you're 14th in the queue, 10th in the queue. Smashwords has a nice countdown. Amazon just has like a bar. I forgot what it looked like.
No.
As soon as it's done formatting, buy your book from Smashwords or Amazon and read it and check these things.
Because you might have to go back and fix a bunch of stuff because it might look like complete trash.
Oh, you will have to go back and I've never had a book.
I was
go out
trying
right.
to softball it.
You're always gonna. So here's what I
I was
check.
gonna find something that's wrong.
Here's what I check usually. I check the cover because no, not from where you're thinking of Utterfly.
Okay.
If you put a cover image in your Word document, and then put a cover image when Amazon asks you to upload it, you get to have double covers.
Yay!
And the second one looks shitty. So I check the cover. I definitely check any images I've put in the middle because sometimes they just get replaced by like an image not found thing, or they replaced by a weird thing. I check every chapter to make sure it's bold and has a paragraph break. I check the first page and last page, and if you check all that, you're
probably okay.
You're probably okay. If all the chapters have come out okay, if the images have come out okay, if the star for the first couple times have come out okay,
If the quotes are okay.
yeah, if the pretentious quote you have at the beginning of every chapter comes out okay.
Oh, I meant the quotation marks.
Oh, no, I meant the pretentious quote you have from Rudyard Kipling.
As long as that's in the right place.
Yeah, but you'll want to read it. So, how do you prevent readers from reading your book while it's not ready?
You put a ridiculous price on it.
Yeah.
And if somebody buys it, bully for you.
Yeah, every single time I've done this.
They get a shittily formatted book because they didn't wait.
Amazon and Smashwords ask you what the price is when you're doing the upload process. So I've always made my price like $9.99. So that makes sure that no one buys your book while you're formatting. You know, you spend your hour or two formatting. And then once you're done and you re-upload it, you make the price what it normally should be.
And we'll talk about prices later. In another video.
So yeah, it's going to take some time. You're going to have to sit there and actually read your book. And you're going to have to check for this stuff. You're going to have to check for weird spaces and the paragraphs not lining up. It's going to suck, but you're going to have to do it.
And if for some reason you decide that you want to print out a few copies of your book, it gets worse.
It gets so much worse.
So much worse.
So I didn't do this. This is actually a birthday gift Stila gave me. So give people a flavor of what it takes to... everything we talked about here, give people a flavor of what it takes to make a physical book.
You basically have to do that all over again. But you do have to put headers and footers and page numbers. And you have to go through and make sure you have to make it into a PDF. And there's very exacting requirements. You have to put a book cover in it, and it has to be just so. With certain things, you have to put your ISBN on the back. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, this back of the book, this back of the book, Stila had to invent on her own. So these quotes are all fake.
Well, no, they're quotes from your reviews.
Yeah, but they're just random people.
But they're just random people, you know, that reviewed his book that I like the quote and I just slapped him on there. So one of the problems when we did this, and why we highly suggest that you put these in, is because when I went through this, there were none of these. I had to do the nuclear option on his file to format this. And unfortunately that meant that those time breaks that he put in here, I could not see them.
Yeah, they got all mashed up.
I didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
It did not translate. They are not in here.
Yeah.
So there's just walls of text and people are jumping randomly because these aren't in there. So if you plan on printing out a few copies for yourself and you have
and your
time
parents.
breaks, put these buggers in. You will do yourself a huge favor.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
Yeah,
right now.
Don't just rely on spaces to be your time
No,
breaks.
they won't be there.
Yeah. So again, learn from our mistakes. How long did this take you? So these actual pages, you have to make them the right number of inches across, and it's a whole
You have to
thing.
go into your Word. So you do the nuclear option, and you go into Word, and you format the page in Word to their specifications.
The master. Yeah.
Specifically, you have to create it with a certain space because the printer can only go to a certain distance on each page. So you have to put this in there and this in there. You have to have the header for each page of your book. You have to have the footer with the number.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, you have to do all that.
Yeah.
It's on every page.
I noticed the page numbers, but I didn't notice you put a little header on there.
Has a header for the book.
So how long did it kind of take you to do format the physical copy?
About a week.
Yeah. Okay.
It took me about a week of fussing with it, and then I would have to test it by exporting it as a PDF and check the PDF, and then I would find mistakes or it wasn't exactly right, and I'd have to go back to do it again.
Yeah.
So it was annoying. Worth it. It was a great. He loved it, but
yeah, it was a great birthday
worth
present.
it.
But so, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that, Kate. It was a good thing.
You didn't even see it coming.
I didn't see it coming. But this type of formatting for electronic books should take you about a weekend. To actually physically format your book will take you maybe a week. But if you want your book to look good and be cherished by readers, it's worth it.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so budget that time before the end of the year. Next week, we're going to talk about the most mysterious and mystical arts in the book selling trade. Marketing. Ooh.
Should have done that at Halloween.
Ooh.
So get Blurbing Doppler.
Hey publishers, sorry about last week. We fell down a well.
Ah!
Sorry about last week. We got attacked by bees.
Ah!
Sorry about last week. We got attacked by puppets. Sorry about last week. We had tea with the queen. Sorry about last week. We ran out of outfits.
Wasn't prepared for that. Now I get the joke.